Ultimately, the learning process is about producing business results. But a strong corollary to that is that we need to be able to show that we have done so. You need to be able to demonstrate that, in fact, you have created the kind of value that was initially expressed as the promise of the learning in the first place. So I think about an experience I had when I was the chief operating officer of a technology company back in the 90s. And my experience with that was I was a strong proponent of learning, that I believed that it had the potential to be transformational in an organization. But I found myself sitting one day creating the annual operating plan for the company. And I was looking at the budget, and we spent quite a lot of money on training and development. And it was interesting because about half of it was split between technical training and the other half in soft skills training, leadership, what have you. And as I looked at it, I could go to my P&L and see what the technical training was producing. I had clear metrics on the technical training, so that wasn't an issue for me. I then went to my head of training and development and said, can you show me what's happening on the soft skills side? What are we getting? And she said, let me go check. And came back to me with an answer that ultimately spelled the end of soft skills training for my organization. And that was, she couldn't tell, but she didn't think much. For me, that answer was a question of allocation of resources. That ultimately, in my role back then, I was responsible for making sure that when we spent money, we spent it in a way which was going to improve shareholder value. Now, I sit on the other side, I actually straddle both sides of the table today. Because on the one hand, I'm a huge proponent of learning, and I think that there are ways for us to drive incredible value from it. And on the other hand, I'm the president of a company, and I'm asking the same questions that I used to, except now I can get an answer. I can get an answer because there are clear ways and strategies of successfully evaluating what's happening in the learning and development process. I'm a big believer in not just taking whatever the strategy du jour is for evaluating learning programs. I'm an advocate of saying, what is my program designed to do? And then saying, what is the best possible strategy for me to produce evidence which is going to be compelling to the business leader? Now, one thing that's an important point about this is that the evidence has to be compelling. So make sure you know what they're going to accept as compelling evidence, because we've seen all too frequently a strategy was adopted for evaluating the success of a learning program, and the strategy did not meet the criteria or standards of those who were going to ultimately judge it. However, if in fact at the beginning of the process, when you are setting the stage for a learning program and design and determining what are the outcomes you're looking for, you can at that stage say, okay, business leader, what will you accept as evidence of success? And if you can do that, if you can get the business leader up front to say, this is what success looks like. You show me this, we've done it. When you take that to them, the likelihood you're getting any pushback at all is infinitesimally small. So the strategy needs to be tailored to the program itself, and the actual evaluative output needs to be something that you have agreed on in advance with the line leaders, and if you've done that, the likelihood is that you will have a very successful event.